a second off. See what it just destroyed him. And I'm thrilled because usually I'm the guy that does it.
It's only the ones that everybody notices.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. And then I came in wrong, didn't I, after the drum solo or something?
Yeah. No, you were fine.
He always says that, Bob, when you haven't paid him yet.
Yeah, you were perfect.
Yeah, no, man. So little Johnny goes into his grandpa and he said, "Grandpa, I have a question." He said, "Well, tell me what you want to know, kid, and I'll help you out." "Grandpa, what's it called when two people sleep in the same room and one person sleeps on top of the other?" And Grandpa's thinking, I don't want my grandkid learning gutter language or that kind of thing. He says, "Well," he says, "Johnny, that's called making love." He says, "Okay, Grandpa, thanks." And he trots off to go play. About an hour later, he comes back in, he says, "Hey, Grandpa." He said, "What?" He said, "You were wrong." He says, "What?" He says, "It's not called making love, it's called bunk beds, and Timmy's mother wants to have some words with you." Here we go. This is a tune that musicians like doing this tune because it's very misunderstood. The title is highly misunderstood. There was a famous story about a mobster, I think it was Gotti, one of the big mobsters, was having a wedding in New York, and the reception hadn't begun yet, but one of the mobster's bosses arrived really early before the reception, and the band was setting up to play, and so he sent his lieutenant over and he said, "The boss wants you to play a song." And he says, "Well, okay, we're not quite set up yet." He said, "Well, the boss wants you to play now. He wants to hear a song." He says, "Okay, what does he want to hear?" And he says, "Well, he wants to hear 'Love Me or Leave Me,' and he doesn't care which one." I can tell it slower if you want. Is this an Irish audience or something? Uh-oh. Take this one.
You said Irish.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
How about it? Isn't this a wonderful jazz festival?
Yes.
It's nice to be here.
Good timing.
How about a nice hand for Jason, Bob, and Shelley? And how about a nice hand for Ruth over here for bringing it? Yeah, this young fella came back from Iraq and he had to have an MRI, and he was really worried about it. He was sort of shell-shocked, and they roll him in this big round unit MRI machine, and this gorgeous young nurse rolls him in, and he's like, "How long will this take? Don't worry about it, you're going to be fine." And he rolls out, and there's another nurse there. She's about 70 years old, and he looks at her and he says, "How long was I in there?"
Wanted to learn that tune. Of course, you don't particularly come in here to see me do on-the-job training, do you? Only took me half a chorus to find out what I was playing there. And we want to thank you for the requests. So far, we have none. That makes us happy. On the way over here, I stopped this little lunch counter, you know, little mom and pop places outside of Longview there. I went in there to get something, a little brekkie in the morning, and there was one guy in there besides me, just one guy in the diner, and I said, good morning, and he said, good morning, you. And I said, wow, that's a southern accent. He said, yeah, it is. I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Alabama. And I said, you're a long way from home. He said, yeah, I'm going to see my sister up here. And I said, that's nice. And I said, so you having breakfast too? He said, well, my car broke down. That's my car right up there. And he pointed to his car out there, and I looked out there, and his car's broke down with a flat tire on the side of the road, and he's got a bunch of flowers in a vase right in front of the car, and he's got a bunch of them in a vase behind the car. And I said, well, I'm kind of curious. I said, did you put the vase with the, and he said, yeah. He said, I don't understand it either, but my driver's handbook in Alabama says that when you break down on the road, you got to have flowers in the front and flowers in the back.
Tell it again.
Claire.
You got to have flowers in the front, flowers in the back. People don't even know how to talk Southern, do they? Wow. Okay. You just got it, didn't you? Don't you hate clean jokes? They really suck. Okay.
Do it again to see if I get it.
Yeah. He's a drummer. He ain't ever going to get it.
She just got it.
Oh, you,
I had to explain it to her.
You,
Oh, man.
Well, okay, we'll stick to the Irish jokes. And I can tell it was slow.
I got a good Irish joke.
Actually, I met a family the other day. They said, we're going on vacation. They said, really, where are you going? He said, to another bar.
How are you? You know, it's just so nice to be out with really nice people and have a great time. It really makes us feel good. So thanks for being here. It's wonderful. Anyway, I'm sure you're aware, the Guinness plant is in Ireland. And, you know, that's beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we've got this plant over there, and the manager falls in and drowns. And they're like, oh my gosh. So the big manager of the plant, one of them, goes over to the home of the guy, and his wife answers the door, and he says, you know, I have some really bad news. She said, what's going on? He says, Mr. Murphy, your husband fell in the vat and drowned. She said, you're joking? He said, no. He said, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of anything you need. We're going to make sure the whole time you're alive, we're going to give you his check every 2 weeks. You don't have to worry about anything. She says, oh my. She said, I hope he didn't suffer. And it says, no, he fell in the vat, but we don't think he suffered. He got out to pee 3 times. He's a great friend. Anyway, quite a few years ago, I was fishing in the bay down by San Francisco, and they have a big fleet of ships that they're going to eventually break up. And this is a true story. I was fishing, and right on the end was the battleship, the Iowa. And I pulled up to about 30 yards from it, and I was amazed, you know. It's just an amazing piece of equipment if you've never seen a real battleship. So I called Bob on the phone. And Bob is a history guy. He just loves everything about World War II. He knows the name of every general. If you ever have time to sit down with him, and him and my wife get together, and it goes for hours, because she loves the history too. Anyway, I said, Bob, I'm sitting in front of the Iowa. He says, you're kidding me. I said, no, I can't believe how long it is. And what did you say, Bob? Do you remember?
Where?
How long was the Iowa?
Let me see, 968 feet.
Yeah, and I said, it's just amazing. I said, I can't believe how long it is, but it's not very wide. I said, I wonder why it's not very wide. And Bob said,
106 feet to clear the Panama Canal.
And I said, wow. And we went on. I said, and the guns are enormous. I said, I don't even know what they are. They're just so big. And Bob said,
9 independently firing 16-inch guns in 3 turns.
So the message is, he's just not a plain guy. He's a super guy. And it's just nice to have people remember World War II.
Worthless knowledge, man. A collection of worthless knowledge, but
I can remember.
yeah, I lost my dad. I lost my dad year before last, and my dad was one of 4 that were submariners in the service. In fact, I'm named after one uncle that didn't come back. But it's amazing how many. We're just down to the point now where there's almost no one left as World War II veterans. And there's darn. How many do we have? How many World War II veterans are there? God love it. Yeah. In my heart, I really believe Tom Brokaw was right. That was the greatest generation.
Right. Yep.